Hello and welcome back to another video. If you're looking for recommendations on what manhwa to read, then here are some that I've read recently that might be of interest. Manhwa titles are timestamped in the video for your convenience. Our first manhwa for today is Omniscient Reader, also known as Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint to some others. It's a reincarnation manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 231 on. Its main character is Kim Dok-ja, an individual with a very harsh and isolating past whose only solace in life was reading through his favorite novel, 3 Ways to Survive the Apocalypse. He kept reading this novel until it finished, and he was the only one who read it to the end. As he realized that his only solace was now finished, the world changed, and now he, and seemingly the Earth, is now inside of 3 Ways to Survive the Apocalypse. Knowing that the novel was about the regression of a specific main character, Yoo Jung-hyuk, Kim Dok-ja now wants to see if he can reach the ending that he would like with the characters that he is attached to so much. The story is 9 out of 10. Save for some gruesome and slight slow pacing at the beginning due to the setup required, the story overall is captivating if you enjoy the transported into a novel genre. It provides the necessary tools for Kim Dok-ja to succeed, but the situations and people he will meet face to face with will challenge both him and his companions. Will he be able to reach his goal? The characters are 9 out of 10 as well. Due to its length and the amount of characters that's introduced, Omniscient Reader has enough material to work with that there's most likely at least one person or companion of Dok-ja's that you will resonate with or grow attached to. For each one of those, though, there are those that look to take advantage of the mess that the world is in instead. Jung-hyuk and Dok-ja's own situation, though, is a special case all on their own. The art is 10 out of 10. The illustration of the action scenes and various other gruesome events are amazing in my opinion. Considering its length, it's found its art style identity and leans into it hard. The other part that's great is the emotional strain that not just Dok-ja but other characters are going through in these events, and that has me personally hooked on it. So if you're a fan of the reincarnating or being transported into a novel genre, particularly those of the action survival type, and would like a good amount of chapters to sink your teeth into, then Omniscient Reader is a perfect one for you to try out. For new readers of manhwa that prefer action and overall storyline-based manhwas, then this would also be a good one to try out. Thank you to those who recommended the manhwa. I really do appreciate it, and I wouldn't have picked it up right away had it not been for that. This next manhwa is We're Not Dating, a more of a special and unusual kind of manhwa in today's sense, but it's a slice of life manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 69 on. A little bit more of an unusual story, it has what I would say 8 main characters, specifically 4 couples that you will get introduced to as you read through its chapters. Another thing to note is that if you've read some manga that only have 4 panels per chapter or 4 koma, this is a similar type but in a more manhwa styles as the chapters are very short and succinct. This doesn't degrade from the experience though, as the stories and little moments they tell of the couples are endearing and overall an enjoyable time if you enjoy the more innocent moments of love stories. The story is 5 out of 10. Considering it's more of a slice of life manhwa with a very short page count and multiple couples, there isn't really that much going on in terms of an overall story. It's 8 people living their lives with a good portion of what's shown to the readers as their interactions with their quote-unquote partner. Just don't expect big epic stories about their lives or actions here. The characters are 8 out of 10. With characters hailing from different backgrounds and having an assortment of interests, you can usually find yourself relating to at a minimum one of the characters, if not all of them, at some point in the chapters. They're all quite interesting people, to say the least. The art is 9 out of 10. Even with its short delivery, the manhwa is able to illustrate the journey of the 4 couples and how they go about their lives, whether it's for school or work, and it's even more entertaining when their stories intertwine with another seamlessly. So if you would like a type of manhwa that is more of a very short and sweet kind, with similar elements to 4 koma mangas, then We're Not Dating should warrant a read from you. The Villainess's Daughter is the next manhwa that we are going to be taking a look at. It's a reincarnation manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 42 on. Daphne is its main character, and she is the daughter of the supposed identified Villainess. As the daughter of this person, she had to witness her mother, the supposed rightful first wife of the Emperor, go insane as she was abandoned by said Emperor. You might think that Daphne has a right to hate her mother as she was never paid attention to and didn't receive the care and love that a child deserves from their parent. But because she's reincarnated into this novel from her previous life, she's able to cope and understand the situation that she's in now. Now having to find her new way in life for herself, will she be able to survive? She even has the unique purple hair that resembles her mother and thus causes her issues as well. The story is 7 out of 10. A girl merely trying to live a life that's her own, she is stained with the actions and feelings that were towards her mother. Without trying to spoil too much, she comes up with an idea to use her knowledge of the novel in her previous life to her advantage, and maybe, just maybe, she might be able to survive and maybe even thrive. The characters are 7 out of 10. Considering the reincarnating into a novel setup, there is bound to be some romantic relationship regarding Daphne, but this would need a lot of growth from her part because even if she did reincarnate, she still went through firsthand the scorn and ridicule of the people for no other reason than sharing her mother's hair color. Is it possible for her to get out of this shell? The art is 8 out of 10. Both the emotional scenes and Daphne's overall character growth are illustrated well. There are dark and solemn pages contrasted by the more light and soft ones throughout the 42 chapters that I've read. So if you enjoy the reincarnating into a novel genre, and specifically those with a child perspective and are okay with a situation where she struggles for quite a bit, then The Villainess's Daughter is worth a try for you. This next manhwa is I Am the Last Villainess He Has to Kill, a reincarnation manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 27 on. The story revolves around Beatrice, or Bella for short, a villainous character in a novel that is meant to die at the hands of the protagonist of the story. Of course, our Beatrice is someone who reincarnated into this world, taking over Beatrice's body, and weirdly enough, instead of refusing to accept this new reality or trying to fight her role of dying in it, she embraces it instead? As if this new life's fate couldn't get any weirder, she finds herself through a series of events entangled with the protagonist during his childhood days. Will things be alright, or will the story take a different turn from what she's expecting? The potential is 7 out of 10. Considering its initial introduction, it's safe to say that a potential goal or ending has already been shown to Bella and the readers. There is room, however, especially with how the characters are set up and performing, that things might take quite the drastic turn from how they were in the novel. This is a living, breathing world, and Bella isn't the same Beatrice from the novel. The art is 9 out of 10. From its serious and threatening auras contrasting its more cute and comedic moments, there are a variety of illustrations that provide quite a number of pendulum swings, if you will, of atmosphere even within one chapter. If you're good with the almost constant changing tone, it provides a great experience. So if you're a fan of the reincarnating into a novel as a villainous genre and want to take a look at how a story might develop if said villainess would interact with the protagonist early on instead of being an enemy, then I'm the Last Villainess He Has to Kill would be an interesting story for you to take a look at. Welcome to the highlight portion of today's video as we look at how one of the manhwas mentioned in the previous video is doing as I've continued reading it. Slight spoiler warning as we will be discussing the events in the manhwa since my previous opinion. Today's highlight is the Reincarnated King of Fists, aka the Indomitable Martial King from my previous videos, which I've now read up to chapter 52 on. Info card in description will have links to my original opinion. Leopardheart has been moving non-stop in the direction of all the races being equal ever since his regression reincarnation into the future King of Fists body, Tezron. From recruiting elves, dwarves, and orcs, Leopardheart's approach in affecting the world stage is very different from his first life. It's still fun to think that he's a mage, but is able to be so adept at close combat now. It's also been a treat though to not just see his motivations, but also of the companions and the races and characters that choose to follow him. Considering some of the people were teased in the early chapters from his first life, the future is surely changing. Maybe, just maybe, Leopardheart, through using his knowledge of magic and now martial combat in combination with his strategic brain, might just achieve his goal. My previous scores for this manhwa were 8 out of 10 for potential and 7 out of 10 for art. That potential, now that I've read a good amount of chapters, translates to 8 out of 10 for characters and 9 out of 10 for story. This score for characters comes from the fact that this manhwa doesn't cover just Leopardheart's story, but rather also of his close friends and enemies. From Leopardheart's worry of his original body to the worries and problems of the various races and their perceived leaders, there are a bunch of things to expand on. This extends to its story, as after that initial period of chapters that establishes the cast of characters and Leopardheart's overall mission and goal, we see more of a political and larger scale combat and planning that focuses on showcasing the ability and potential of the so-called inferiors of the other races. The art goes up 2 points to 9 out of 10, as the illustrations of combat and magic have continued to be great. It's also been able to expand upon this strength and being able to depict the scale of battles that are just a tease of what's to come, considering the snippets of what we saw in Leopardheart's first life. The Reincarnated King of Fists is a unique spin on the regression genre, as I've said before, in that Leopardheart reincarnates as his enemy, but now has been able to provide more substance for both its story and illustration that's shaping up to be quite a good read overall. I would recommend it if you're a fan of the regression action genre. Would you agree, or would you not? Comment down below your thoughts on the Reincarnated King of Fists. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Write in the comment section down below what manhwa you've been reading, and I might just take a look. Till next time though, have a good read.